And now it's time for another comments from trolls that we have out there. And this comes to us from a Saddam Hussein-looking motherfucker by the name of Bradford Flynn. And he left us a run-on paragraph.
Oh, no.
Probably about 1,500, characters long. And
Jesus.
Not going to read the whole thing here.
Oh, thank you.
I would love some excerpts.
Yeah, so what his main problem is that we were talking about the NRA, of course, and oh wait, no, this was the one where we talked about the gun school, the school shelters, like against like active shooters that we have.
Right, okay.
And so he is pro-gun, and he lets us know that, and it's like, okay, dude. First of all, paragraphs work better to get your point across.
Yes,
second,
because it separates your ideas, and therefore they're more easily digestible and understood by the party you're trying to communicate to.
Point the second. Don't waste your life writing long as fuck comments on other people's YouTube channels, because I can just go, delete, and it's gone forever, and you spent however fucking long it took for you to write this out.
I actually
that's just wasted.
I don't think he spent much time or thought spitting this out.
I mean, there are several ellipses in here.
Oh, what is with these people and the use of ellipses? Like,
well, they don't understand what it's for.
They use ellipses as commas.
They don't know what an M dash is. They don't
like. It's like their universal, like grammatical art. Yeah. Everything they do is grammatical ellipses. And it's like, no, that's not how ellipses work. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this?
And so let's get into it. Speeding is illegal, right? Yes, and it's something completely different from people shooting up a school, you dumbass.
Yeah, we also have a lot of regulations on it and controls.
You have to have a license to drive the car. You have to have insurance to drive the car.
Right.
You have to be a certain age in order to get the car. You have to
buy
pay
the
taxes
car.
on it. You have to buy fuel for it that has taxes on top of it.
If you buy it from a private individual, you still have to get safety and inspection.
Paperwork done. You still have to get licensed, entitled, and inspected every year. Oh my God. It's like you just built in your own fucking anti-argument to your thing.
If your eyes start failing and you're not doing corrected vision.
Oh yeah, you get to lose your privilege to drive there.
If you commit another crime completely unrelated to driving, that is non-violent, you can lose your privilege to drive. Yeah, I know because my license got suspended for not paying a ticket I was told had been paid off.
Here's their ensconced backup whenever this kind of thing comes up.
Okay.
Well, guns are in the Second Amendment of the Constitution. That's the whole keep and bear arms, well-regulated militia, that thing. Because they didn't expect us to have a standing army that pays $700 billion of fucking defense budget every year, guys.
They could not have fathomed that budget. It would have been unfathomable.
No.
And for good reason. It would have been reasonable for them to never even imagine that. Hell, like just women with the boobs out for fun.
Yeah. And he talks about signs on the streets, the laws being well known. Why is it that so many people still speed, which has also killed innocent children and adults by the thousands over the years? Isn't saving just one child's life worth not speeding? Like,
well, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
But they're okay. First of all, I doubt his statistics.
It's not like my car goes through your fucking high school, though. It's not like I'm going to clip somebody.
Yeah.
Speeding in and of itself is not a malicious act.
No,
could be negligent.
Right.
Yeah.
No. Nor is it inherently dangerous, just in and of itself, necessarily.
Right. First of all, cars were not meant to be people killing machines like guns. So there's very big differences there. We already went over how fucking regulated cars are. Oh, and by the way, that has reduced fatalities significantly.
Right.
Yeah, like seatbelt laws or requiring cars to start building crumple zones or airbags or child seat, like car seats for kids, like, and booster seats and all that shit has impacted thousands of lives.
Right, and there are all these other little things on the periphery, like jaywalking. Jaywalking is illegal, and because people on foot and cars don't belong in the same place. So there's like some pretty strict rules for both parties when that happens.
Right. I doubt his statistics, though. At the base of it, I don't think there's a good way for us to say speeding has directly caused this many deaths. But I don't think speeding is as dangerous as he is making it sound.
No.
Like per
They've
capita,
raised speed limits on the freeway from 55 when I was a young man to 75 in this state.
Right.
And I've not seen a ramped up fucking number of people killed by speeding.
No.
You know?
Well, so
the Autobahn has been around for a couple of generations now.
Way safer. The Autobahn
and it's a lot fucking safer than freeways, you know? Anyway, let's get back to this guy's thing here. He says, do you really think that taking away guns from people will stop the violence? No, but it's going to limit it.
But we think that if you take the guns away from people, those people can't shoot other people.
It's interesting.
Imagine.
Why do the gun nuts always go to this? They're like, you won't ever get rid of all violence. Duh.
Whoever said that?
No one
Humans
said that.
are fucking inherent violent monkeys. We're not really going to ever get rid of that.
We wanted to lessen the violence.
Right.
Do you think that criminals or those intent on killing someone with a gun will be affected by any new laws?
Yeah.
Yeah. If buying that gun is prohibitively expensive, they probably won't be able to buy that gun.
If it's difficult to purchase legally, and most people don't end up going to black markets for things because it's hard to purchase them and it's scary. Yeah. Oh, and prohibitively expensive.
Right.
Yes.
Is it not already illegal to murder no matter the weapon of choice? Well, that's a dumb question.
That's
yes,
a
of course
question.
it is,
and
dummy.
People with guns are far more successful at murder.
Yeah.
Funny that.
Look at the mass stabbings that happen. How many people usually die from those? Very few.
The biggest one is 38, and it took 8 people with knives in China several years ago to do it. Oh, and did you know that there's a bunch of knives that were designed to be particularly lethal that are illegal to own?
They're called katanas, Felicia.
Oh.
Sorry, I'm just making a joke about the edgelords.
Yeah, right.
He says, if you raise the age to 21 to own a weapon, I'm adding the own a weapon, will that include our military? If it's in the context of them doing their job, they're going to be issued a weapon, and it's going to be stored in the arsenal when they're done with it.
Right,
that's true.
They don't own it when they take it home in the evening.
Right. And also, I would actually be fine with us not recruiting teenagers to be in the military.
Sure, that would be fine.
I think that's a bad military practice. I think that is unethical.
I think so too.
Yeah,
it preys on the. Yeah, I'm not even going to go down that road. He said, and he answers his own question. He says, "Of course not, because they are defending the country against anyone who wants to harm or abolish our Constitution. Nobody's going to come in and do that. What they're going to do is they're going to pay politicians with foreign influenced money to make our standing in the world lessened. Hey, how about that?
Yeah, I was going to say, no, let's say there's an
We're living in it.
Citizen. Yeah, we are living in it. And the National Guard isn't doing shit, which, by the way, is the one that would deal with that, is the National Guard, is the home front defense. And they're not doing shit about it because that's not what their function is.
Because the governorships are conservative. So.
Yeah.
Let's see. What else does he say here? I'm a veteran and took an oath to protect our constitutional rights against foreign and domestic enemies. Hey, guess what? I've been civil service in the past, and I had to say that same fucking oath. Big deal.
I did too.
Yeah.
I did too.
The president has had to give that fucking same oath. Is he doing that right now? Nope.
No.
Nope.
And you can't just spit out, I defend the Constitution, and then just cherry pick the parts of the Constitution you give a shit about.
Wait till I get to this next line. Disarming the entire population is impossible. And that's where you're wrong.
No.
We're not doing that, but I'm saying don't ever say impossible.
Not impossible.
Yeah.
But it's a thing that can happen. You know, disarming the population, it's unlikely, and it's not something we're pushing for.
Very, very difficult. Impractical. Lots of other words. Impossible.
On a spectrum, we should disarm. Okay, this is my thing. It's like, I'm like, so you're saying because a thing would be hard to do, we shouldn't do it?
Right.
Yeah.
Wait,
well, and he brings up more fallacies here. He says disarming the entire population, even if that were, it would only leave the government, state, local, and federal as the only ones with guns. Is that what you really want? Like, why are you paranoid against your fellow man that works as like a police officer? You know? I mean, I don't trust cops, but at the same time, here's the thing. If cops weren't in fear of their life every fucking time they corner somebody on the street,
every time
mainly black people,
probably,
they seem to be,
they'd probably be much less likely to shoot people.
If we could have
the police, I think we should disarm the police. I think that we should make guns a lot fucking harder to get, and I think we should disarm the police. Your regular beat cops shouldn't be carrying guns. I know that people hate that, but I really think that's true. Like we should make guns really hard to get. We should be making them far more rare than they really are, and we shouldn't have armed police. How's that? Do I think that there are some professions that need to have access to guns? Yeah, because the world is shit and nothing's fair. Yeah. But guess what? Your beat cops shouldn't, and we should make it really hard for average people to get guns. That's all. How much
it annoys me that even people that I know that are law enforcement officers, they have to put on the fucking body armor before they go to work.
Mm-hmm.
They have to be strapped with whatever service pistol they have, backup pistol for most of them, and they have to carry multiple clips. Like, we're talking about downtown fucking Farmington, Utah.
Yeah.
Are you really going to need that much armament? Are you really going to need that?
No.
I mean, I'm glad that if they have the body stuff on, they might save them if somebody does shoot them. That's the thing.
That's fine. The body armor I'm good with.
But it shouldn't be necessary. It's the escalation of this gun culture that we have in this country that's led to this.
Right.
Exactly. We're just piling on violence on top of violence, and we know that escalation only makes things worse. Like, hell, this show's kind of guilty for escalating shit because we make fun of racists and shit, and that only makes them feel more isolated. It's not for them. It's not for them. It's not for them.
He says, how about asking Nazi Germany, China? And he says, birth Korea. I'm sure he meant North Korea there. But
probably.
Anytime I can be a smarmy asshole and be like, you said the wrong word, you know, I'm going to do it. But how has that worked out? Well, I don't know. Let's see. The population, besides the Jews that were getting dragged away to fucking being slaughtered, Nazi Germany was relatively peaceful within the country.
Relatively.
China, once the fucking pogrom stopped and everybody was not dying of famine anymore, ask them now, how's China doing for everybody? There's not that much violent crime there. It's amazing.
There's human rights violations and tyrannical government.
I'm not saying China's a place I want us to emulate or necessarily become. I'm just saying that...
You know what's interesting, though, is what...
You don't see gun violence.
No, you don't. And another thing is that they're slowly and they're progressively getting better at human rights violations as the world holds them accountable. Yeah. It has nothing to do with citizens having guns.
Right.
It is about a global world holding standards.
Armed, law-abiding citizens are the only way to ensure that the government abides by the Constitution.
Sure.
Horseshit. That's a pile of shit, man.
We're finding more and more and more that violent opposition is not the answer. It doesn't fucking work. It doesn't work for the neo-Nazis, and it doesn't work for us. And before anyone starts in on Antifa, no, shut the fuck up. Like,
completely different.
No, they're not as bad as neo-Nazis. Not ever. Not even when they punch a Nazi. So, no.
Oh, hang on. It says here, to believe anything else than, people abiding the Constitution by force kind of thing is ludicrous. Okay, so thanks for telling me what to think and how to think. You should be committed for psychiatric evaluation.
Okay.
Not again.
Okay, this is another one that these fuckers think. Like, okay, this is this gun nut thing where they're like, mental health. Actually, mental illness is not a good indicator for violence. Hate is. But like just experiencing mental illness, a great example of this. I was looking into abuse and symptoms to relate it to somebody else in a positive conversation. And almost every abuser was abused at some point. But only about half of people who are abused become abusers themselves, which indicates that there's a choice being made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Conscious or unconscious. Yes, there is a choice.
Yeah. There is. Yeah, conscious or unconscious, there's a choice being made. In other words, no, we don't have to behave this way.
No.
We don't. There is no government coming. Like, we choose to either be violent or non-violent. We choose that. But the thing is, when we choose violence and we have ready access to guns, we become way more violent.
Yeah.
And that violence becomes way more deadly. It turns out that American crime rates are about the same as everywhere else, just that American crimes are just way more deadly.
So he says here, now let the haters of freedom begin commenting on my post. Let's hear all the irrational and non-realistic views and in a utopia that only exists in books and the minds of the insane. How about let's not, and I just delete your comment and nobody fucking hears about it except for when they check this video out.
Hey!
We made you internet famous, you dumbass.
Or we could just list all the other, countries.
Mental illness isn't an excuse. Go fuck yourself.
Managed to handle this. Let's see. Japan, Australia,
Canada, England,
the UK,
Scotland, Ireland, Wales.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Let's see, France,
Rwanda,
Germany, Switzerland, all of these European countries.
Rwanda, over the last year, saw a 12% decrease in violent crime.
Yeah.
How'd they do that?
Elected a bunch of women.
Oh, that's not what this guy wants to hear.
No, it's not.
Oh, not at all.
No. So, okay, Bradford.
That's some fictitious utopia there.
No, first of all, by the way, for white people, it's super safe to travel there. You should. I would love to go to Rwanda someday. But their violent crime rate is still higher than ours here, but that's on a steady decrease. Oh, and they've virtually eliminated corruption from their government. It's actually what Rwanda's been doing is pretty fucking amazing in the time they've done it, because they went from genocide in the early 90s to almost like to drastically decreased crime and violence and clean streets and recycling and holy shit, Rwanda, you're kicking ass. But this guy is like, ooh, and they are reducing guns per capita.
Yes, they are.
Funny.
So Bradford.
Oh yeah. Oh, and they have freedom. Don't forget that.
Step up with your fucking A game. Step up with your A game if you're going to be a pro-gun person. Don't come at us with all this bullshit we've heard before. Don't come at us with the whole fucking Nazi Germany, China, Russia, all this stuff. Don't come at us with the stuff that's been debunked about 1 billion fucking times.
Well, yeah, it's just too easy. And
we're not interested in your Fox News fucking line of questioning, line of
we're
thinking,
not.
Guys.
That shit.
The terrible thing about this is there are so many arguments that could be made that are actually good, legitimate arguments, but they're not making them.
Actually, okay, so this is my big thing. This is what I've run into with gun nuts over and over and over again. Is I go, so you see that we have a problem, right? You see that we have a problem with gun violence in this country because they all do.
And thoughts and prayers aren't fixing it, guys.
Yeah. And I go, give me a realistic, viable solution. And most of the time, their first answer is arm everyone. And I'm like, so untrained, unprofessional people in crowded situations should just be firing guns. That's obviously a bad answer. That's the thing, is that they don't actually have any real answers to this.
No,
and
they don't.
You start pointing that out, they get really defensive. And that's because we know what the answer is. They know what the answer is. We know what the answer is. It's less guns. Everyone knows. We all know this, but they don't want to have to give up their goddamn toys because it makes their dicks feel big or something like that.
I don't know.
Lawn darts. How much I would love to play lawn darts again.
Oh, yeah.
But I can't because it was too dangerous. That's an old man thing. That's Felicia.
Oh, I know what they are. I just never played.
Okay. Yeah, it's just I remember them fondly growing up. But I was a redneck growing up, so yeehaw!